Was Joseph Smith and Brigham Young gay? Sounds kind of wild, right? But stick around, because the Mormon church records say some surprising things. Let's start with Brigham Young. After Joseph Smith died, Brigham had a very vivid dream. He said, "I took hold of his right hand and kissed him many times. I said to him, 'Why is it we cannot be together as we used to be?'" Multiple kisses, a longing to be close again. Not really a dream that I thought Brigham Young would have. Kind of thought it'd be more about all the women. Now, Joseph Smith himself, he once said, "It's pleasing for friends to lie down together, locked in the arms of love, to sleep and wake in each other's embrace." I mean, he's also encouraging sex before marriage, which we know is a huge no-no in the Mormon church. That was from a sermon he gave in 1843. It's also published by BYU's own Religious Studies Center. These weren't just offhand comments. They show how differently early Mormons and early leaders viewed physical affection between men. Let's fast forward 100 years to Joseph Fielding Smith, the presiding patriarch of the church, and a great-grandson of Hiram Smith. Was Joseph Smith, the founder, his brother. He was appointed in 1942, but in 1946 he was quietly released from his position. Why? Well, they say it was because of health reasons, but let's look at some other things. Historians revealed the truth, the real issue. He had engaged in same-sex relationships. Because after he was removed, he was barred from speaking in the church or holding callings for over a decade. So only in 1957, after confessing and repenting, he was allowed to participate again. So if it was really about illness, then he probably should have been able to still speak in the church and hold callings, right? But that wasn't the case. Well, let's meet Evan Stevens. He was a Mormon Tabernacle Choir director for over 25 years. He was never married, but he lived with younger men who often were described as his intimate companions. Historian D. Michael Quinn, a believing Mormon, wrote that Stevens' personal letters read more like love letters. These weren't isolated cases. Early Mormonism had space for deep male emotional connection, even physical closeness. And honestly, it looked a lot more queer than the modern church wants to admit. So, were Joseph Smith and Brigham Young gay? Was Joseph Fielding Smith affirming something the church couldn't accept? You decide. But if this is your first time hearing this, that's no accident. The church made sure they didn't teach this in Sunday school. So, in honor of Pride Month, it's quite interesting that Joseph Smith had said those things about lying with your friends, Brigham Young having that dream, and Evan with all his partners. If you're gay and in the Mormon church or have left, you might find this really interesting. Let me know what you think. Has anyone else heard about this? This is news to me.